Okay, so now you know a woman's smile is powerful enough to effect some pretty serious changes, right? And make the sun pale in comparison.
That's right. Now, 4 women coming together to do more than smile. Imagine the absolute magic.
Yeah.
The magic we're about to make, and we're going to like blow this place up with brightness.
Absolutely. Now, you should definitely know that love is at the forefront of what we do, definitely here, especially on Wednesdays. Why? Because women obviously lead with love.
Yes, yeah, not just because she's a nurturer, but also because she understands that for the most part, now how the world turns out is largely in her hands.
Definitely. Absolutely, absolutely. And this morning, we definitely intend to conquer the world by taking every single step with you, coming along with us.
Yes, and the biggest thing on the agenda this morning is sharing all the love that's in our hearts, and there's plenty of it, believe me.
And of course, from that, I mean, from the way, I mean, everything is looking right about now. I mean, look at Mary, she's looking dashing, absolutely.
Yeah. Look at Winfrey. Winfrey be making me feel like I'm 3 times. And of course, Titi is... Titi, you don't want them to see... Okay, don't worry, you see Titi. You see Titi.
Very, very soon.
Okay, well, you do not have to be a mind reader. No. You don't. No. Yeah. Yeah, in just a few minutes, you will see that giving you a morning of sunshine and blue skies is what we're about. My name is Mary Bashwa Alimi.
And my name is Winfrey Daniel Cole. Make sure you do stream the show live at tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
Now remember to send in your comments using the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and download the TVC app on both the Android and iOS stores. Also check us out. We're on YouTube at TVC Entertainment, okay? So you can catch up on old episodes of the show there.
Definitely. And of course, starting up today, we'll definitely be having Dr. Kalu Maju, who is a medical doctor at Quincy Wellness and Naturopathic Center. And he will be here talking about the vital nutrients, water. Yep. And of course, healthy romantic relationships. How romantically competent are you? This will be the focus of our conversation today with certified mental health counselor with a specialization in relationship and marriage counseling, Olaiwola Abiola.
And then, of course, we'll have a performance from Williams Damilola Eunice, popularly called Didi Wills, a singer of the Afro-pop genre who's worked with Nigerian artists like Burna Boy, Simi, Praise, Adeniji, and a couple of others as well. Well, there's a lot to learn about her, and we cannot wait to have a conversation with her as well.
And right after that, definitely we'll be having a conversation with actor, filmmaker, model, and presenter OK Jude. He's known for his role in Africa's Magic's Dilemma and Danny TV's Love Like This.
And what's the name of this infallible informant, huh? Look where his...
We go.
Hello, ladies.
How you doing?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. There's a lot of color going on this morning. Yes. Well, this we want to celebrate someone who's special to TVC. We're talking about Ronan, the director of marketing. Or rather, commercial director. Now, it's his birthday today.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you, Ronan Redmond, commercial director.
The thing about people like Ronan is that they're ideas people, and they love to hear great ideas from people and try and figure out a way to make money from them. There's a lot of money flowing in from the commercial department because of ideas that he was able to, you know, harness and approve of. And, you know, there's some places when you end up working there, you end up throwing out ideas and then it goes in here and comes out here. But it's not like that with Ronan. And, yeah, that's one of the reasons why we love him right here at TVC, because he lets us be as creative as we can be. Thank you so much for all this.
Hello and welcome to the news update here on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. Let's get things started in the nation's capital, Abuja, where airline operators in Nigeria may soon begin the importation of aviation fuel. To achieve that, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company says it will grant them the license to do so. That's according to the NNPC Group Managing Director, Mele Kyari. He spoke earlier on Tuesday at the end of an investigative hearing instituted by the House of Representatives. We have details in this report.
Week's intervention by the House. This meeting is to review the progress that has been made and to hear from the marketers reasons behind the unabated rise in the price of Jet A1. Aviation fuel marketers tried without success to win the legislators to their side as they gave reasons for the persistent rise in price. They attributed the hike to the rise in dollar rate.
There are some things that are out of our control. If we can access the US dollar at 410, 450, the price would be different.
Until I specifically asked the other brother, the other side there, when he said they sold at the loss, I said, what was the unit cost at that time we were selling at loss?
At the moment, airlines buy the fuel at 670 naira per litre from 190 naira. Speaking on behalf of airline operators, Helen Oyema of Airpeace says high operational cost is forcing an unprecedented hike in flight tickets. He says a 1-hour flight, which has risen to about 50,000 naira, may go as high as 120,000 naira per economy seat if nothing is done to curb rising costs. He says airline operators may be forced to shut down their operations in 3 days.
I have the mandate of every airline in this country to announce to you, sir, that if they can't come down from their rooftop, we have only 3 more days to be able to fly.
But NNPC chief executive dismisses claims of scarcity of the product, just as the legislators caution the marketers against blackmailing the government.
They will also engage and agree on a premium which differs from customer to customer depending on the volume of the product you buy and then the credit limit that you are able to do. So this is one thing that they can negotiate in 3 days.
We have found ourselves in the past that you are trying to put us back. I said we are not willing. You remember I used the word, don't blackmail this government. And we are not willing to accept blackmail.
Away from that story, the United Kingdom Embassy in Nigeria has announced a temporary suspension of study, work and family visa applications. Now, this is because priority is now being placed on applications made under the Ukraine Family Scheme. The embassy announced this in a statement shared on Tuesday on the official social media handles. The statement further noted that Nigerians whose passports were ready for collection would be contacted by the Visa Application Center. According to the embassy, the Ukraine Family Scheme was launched in response to the humanitarian crisis arising from the invasion of Ukraine. Now, for the 8th day running, women have converged on the National Assembly demanding that lawmakers rescind their decision over the rejection of 5 gender bills in the process of the amendment of the 1999 Constitution. And some of their key demands include specific seats in the National Assembly, indigenship of their husbands' states after 5 years of being together, and 35% affirmative action for women. They insist that they will continue to picket the gates of the National Assembly till all their demands are met. The protesting women also threatened to vote out the lawmakers who voted against women in the constitutional review. Now, following the first few days of the protests, members of the House, however, rescinded their decision on 3 out of the 5 bills. And according to the lawmakers, the bill will be recommended for consideration and will be part of the second batch of the Constitution Amendment to be presented in a couple of months. And that does it for us here on the news. This time I'll be back on the other side of 8 with more stories. I am Kelly Egiga. We urge you to stick around here for the show. We have so much more for you. Good morning.
Welcome back. You're still watching Wake Up Nigeria, and it is time for the headlines. And we're starting today with the Daily Sun. And for the major headlines, we have APC chairmanship aspirants to pay 20 million naira, and Buni Akpanudode take firm control of party secretariat. Bello expected in office. CECPC thank INEC for intervention, says March 26 sacrosanct. And we have that on page 6. And right beside the masthead, we have 2023 presidency PDP split over zoning. Party's national caucus fails to agree, reshuttles meeting. NEC to meet today. And we have that on page 8. And on the strip right above or below the masthead, we have aviation fuel. Senate steps in, begs operators. And moving right below the photo there, we have task force, bus drivers, clash in Lagos, commuters stranded. And we have that on page 4. And on the very strip below, we have Lagos appoints Olatoregun as anti-corruption Caesar. We have that on page 6. And that's all I'll be taking for the Daily Sun. And moving on to the Nigerian Tribune, we have PDP may die if it loses 2023 poll. Atiku warns, says he denied Tinubu's VP slot in ACN. Democracy raises alarm over plots to deny returnee PDP members party tickets. RU PDP governor wade into Obaseki Wike crisis. We have that on page 2. And right above the masthead to the very left, we have reps probe over $6.479 billion debt owed by oil companies. We have that on page 6. And right beside that, we have Petrol Souvenir. Police arrest a rain party organizer. We have that on page 27. Blackout as national grid suffers second system collapse in 2 days. We have that on page 7. And that's all we'll be taking for the newspapers this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the giggles have already begun.
Yeah, the conversations we have behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They're always hilarious. All we can say is, you're so gorgeous, girl.
Oh, yes, she does. She's glowing. She's glowing.
Thank you. Thank you.
But we're actually talking about what's been happening with transportation. People trying to move around, get to go where they're going. Either there's, hikes in fuel prices, or there's this whole insecurity about using public transportation. And ride-hailing apps now have become the in thing.
It's cool that you started with transportation in general, because I know one trending issue right now has to do with the lady who distributed fuel at her party, the updates on it. So some of us are saying, oh, I wish I had been at the party. But what if they had arrested everybody? So basically, the update is that she has been arrested and she has been charged to court on a 4-count charge.
And the counts are?
That's the lawyer.
The baby lawyer in the building.
That's
according to the statement, Ogbulu was arraigned on 4 counts bordering on conduct likely to cause a breach of peace, endangering human life by distributing combustible matter in a public gathering, intent to do harm to another, and unlawfully carrying on the business of storage and containerizing petroleum products without a permit.
Unlawfully.
Yes.
Containerized.
Yeah. For those who have been questioning, why should the government do that? She's being harassed. It's because the law is an...
What?
Okay, if you know the expression, you can complete it. But the ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And the law is very funny. Even when you're right, if it says you're wrong, unfortunately, you're wrong.
Yeah, but then again, in a place like Nigeria, anyways, the law is still the law anyways. But now I think what bothers me the most is, of course, the intent's there. Because now there's accounts for where she was...
Intent of endanger.
Intent, I don't think that was definitely... If anything, because at the point where that actually happened, it was actually when the times was tough, especially when it came to fuel scarcity and fuel not being available. Do you understand? But that was literally the point where it started, the peak of it, where it was really difficult. So of course, did she intend to do all of that? Obviously, I don't think so. And also the situation of storing fuel and all of that. We buy fuel. I have a friend that has almost 10 kegs.
Of what?
Goodness me.
In the house.
Wow.
How?
No, the truth is because no, it's not. But we know how especially in certain areas in Lagos, how light situation is really bad. Actually now with the grid collapse.
Please, I'm really interested. Is it 5 liters or 10 liters?
No, it's 50 liters.
Wow.
So, did you see that drum? That's a GP tank they went to go and use to buy to collect fuel in this thing. It's
extremely risky for those watching at home, right? The risks involved. First of all, the fumes being inhaled by the people in the environment. It's really bad for them. It's maybe we even have to get a doctor to come talk about how terrible it is. I can't even bear to be around fuel for too long. It makes me feel ill. And that's because of all the things you're breathing in. I really do not envy the attendants. But let's go back to
No,
the
but I
issue
don't think
of...
they had a problem with
Wait,
it that day.
let's go back
I
to the
actually wanted to
transport
say
thing.
something.
Yeah.
Regarding that, it's also, I just want everyone to note that it's against the law to have fuel in your house.
Yes.
We know the Nigerian situation. That's why I started with the law is and complete it. You know quite well that you need the fuel, so you have it in your... Mr. Shagun, it's not me that will say it. Now, you know quite well you need fuel. Say, for example, a friend who has like 10, 50 liters in their house, because that's the only way you're going to get electricity. So many of us now have fuel at home. But guess what? It's still against the law.
And the law is the law.
And the law is the law. It's unfortunate because I can't imagine how we're going to cope, especially if you have babies at home. The heat.
There are lots of, I would like to say this just in passing,
Yeah.
but then again, we're in Nigeria, and there are a lot of things that are against the law. That even the people that are creating the law
Are the ones that are
But,
championing it. Yes,
wow.
just to put that out there.
Allegedly.
Just to put it out there.
But I wanted to touch on the fact that because many people couldn't find fuel in those weeks when this whole situation started, they started using a lot more ride-hailing apps.
And public transportation as well.
Transportation, which is supposed to be, in a sense, a saving grace when you don't have fuel in your car. But guess what? There's this insecurity. So many different issues. There was, I think, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, we talked about the lady, the ride-hailing drivers who had so many experiences carrying passengers. And then also passengers are also sharing experiences of what it's like being in ride-hailing apps. For instance, you talked about
that was this morning.
A video.
There's actually a video that is showing online. Maybe before the end of the show, we'll be able to share it with you, where a lady was in a cab, and her friend first got into the cab. Now, her friend said she noticed that all the handles were gone. They had been broken off. And so she enters, and then she notices, but then she's like, country hard. The chair is turned. And then she notices the driver is looking shifty. And she's already like, okay, what's going on? So our friend had to be making calls that, oh, we're on our way. This is where we are. This is just it could have been pretend phone calls, but it doesn't matter. She was making the phone calls until they got to their destination, and she could observe that the driver was uncomfortable. And so, hopefully in the second hour, we can share some security tips. Well, it wouldn't hurt to start now.
Yeah.
Number one, when you board a cab, whatever vehicle, make sure you are able to open from inside. If the child's lock is activated, insist that it be taken off, or you move to the other side that has that doesn't have a child lock.
Yeah. So that now before you even get to that point of checking the locks, make sure that whatever app you're using, the cab you're about to enter matches the description on the app.
Yes.
The car color, the plate number,
and
the driver's face. Because I've actually had a situation like that not too long ago, where I mean the driver is the same, but then again the car was absolutely different make, different model, different plates. Do you get?
Even these incidents that we're talking about, the broken handles, the driver is not the same as the person on the photo.
Exactly. So I know I remember it was Mike that actually made sure I didn't go into that cab, and he was like, no, the guy was like, no, don't worry, I just someone just gave me this car for today, but I'm like, can I just be going? Just come and be going.
Yeah, but there are also security features there you can send to a friend or the person you're going to see.
Don't worry, we'll give you more tips in the next hour, okay? Let's take this break. We'll be right back. Wake Up Nigeria continues shortly. Living good is fantastic. However, staying healthy is just as important. And to do justice to talking health this morning is Dr. Kalu Maju. Now, he is a medical doctor at Quincy Wellness and Naturopathic Center. And he will be talking on the most vital nutrient, which, of course, is water. Great to have you on the show with us.
Thank you for having me once again.
Fantastic. So, water. Everyone keeps going. Even Fela Anikulapo Kuti sang, water, you don't get any me. So, it makes you wonder why we still have to talk about water, considering the fact that water is such an essential ingredient to human existence. But let's even start from water itself. What are the advantages of drinking water? Hitting the nail on the head.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I think water has some enemies. Not by choice, but there are people who
are allergic to it.
Not really allergic to it, just that they've had some experiences with it. Hydrophobic,
yeah, hydrophobic.
So they're like, oh, I don't want to be near water, but that's just on me. So, but basically, water is very essential because 70% of the earth is made of water. 70% of the human body is also made of water. So, there's more water than anything else everywhere. You know, once there's life, there's more water in it than anything else. So, it's essential because you need water in your body to keep your blood moving. If you want to digest your food, you need, of course, you need water. Your enzymes are all made of water. So you don't get constipated. Water, to the byproducts of metabolism, the water helps to draw it out. To maintain your body temperature, you sweat, water. You know, basically everything you do just revolves around water, because you need water for everything. If you go, you can't go, the human body can go days without food, but not so much without water, because your body shuts down. There's no store for water in the body. So if your body is waiting and it doesn't get it, you know, shuts down.
So, shuts down. I'm glad you talked about that. So that's bringing us to the consequences of not drinking enough water. Can you really share it? Because there are many folks like myself who are not really particular about drinking water. Like, you could carry a bottle of water everywhere, all day, 3 days, and you find yourself just taking maybe a sip each time. And so you ask yourself, what are the consequences? Someone once told me kidney stones. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
that's
could you
one
tell
of
us
them.
more?
You know, kidney stones, because the kidneys are like the center for excretion, and it needs water for that. So imagine you don't have enough water. So basically how the kidney works is the water goes into the body, mops up all the excesses, all the things it wants to excrete, takes it to the kidney for, you know, the process. It take back the good ones and throw away the bad ones. Now imagine a scenario where there's not enough water. So these things, now that the body has mopped up with very minimal water, will be thick as it gets to the kidneys. And so it goes there and it forms, because it's thick already. It's not flowing enough. It's not diluted enough for it to flow. So it just stays there and, you know, forms sediments and becomes stones there. So that's not even the worst
Basically, you just described kidney stones formation.
Yes.
Okay.
But now, you know, you have things like, because when you're dehydrated, you don't drink water, nutrients don't move easily, so you can start to feel woozy, you can collapse, you can, you know, a lot of things can go wrong when there's because now, okay, blood is not flowing very well. Obviously, you know the importance of that. You don't have enough nutrients, so you feel like you're tired. You know, you eat and you get constipated, you're bloated. A lot of things could just, you know,
so when we're
go
younger,
wrong when you're...
we used to be, there was somebody in my neighborhood that would, you know, yell at children when they are eating, they don't have water. There are two things that he used to say that somehow have stuck through the years, even though I have not yet begun to apply it. Number one, he would say, if you don't drink water, you will not be smart at school. Number two, he would say, if you don't drink water, you could, in quotes, die suddenly.
Yeah.
Really now?
Because when your body shuts down, if you don't have nutrients to supply the body, how do you expect it to function? You could just be like, okay, you know what, I don't have enough energy, mom, and it packs up. So, you know, you don't...
Water?
Yeah, it's the most... So that's why I was wondering, you know, because you said it was the most vital, essential nutrient. It has no fats, no protein, no calories, no carbohydrates, nothing. But it's very vital because it is the basis upon which everything can, you know,
function.
You can function. So if there's no water, every other thing doesn't count for anything. Wow. You need water for it to function. So yeah.
Okay, so
you could die immediately.
We've talked about reasons we have to drink water. We've talked about the consequences of not doing so. So now, especially for people like us, notes, I'm emphasizing the us, who don't drink so much, how can we stay hydrated?
So the good thing is that there's water in everything we eat, even solid foods. You'll be surprised how much... There's water in semo. There's water semo, I'm serious.
The one that we've already vaporized to create the thickness of the semo.
Exactly, that one has water in it.
It still has the water.
Because that one, they even just made it. I'm talking about groundnut.
Okay.
That is dry. That you can obviously say, oh, this groundnut is dry. It has water in it. How much more semo that you already even put water? You were sure that you mixed it with water. So obviously there's water in that one. So you get water from everything. Maybe not enough. Then you need to supplement. I would say you can get water from a whole lot, but it depends on what category you fall under. If you're, say, like if you drink even like drinks, juice, you know, all those other things. The problem with those ones is because of the calorie content. So you want to do something that gives you water, but not all that calorie.
Sugar and
so
calorie.
yeah, exactly. So if you're somebody that, probably you're younger and you're not as predisposed to some of those illnesses as yet, you can try all those ones. But if you have a thin line for misbehaving, you just have to drink water, find a way.
We've gotten different opinions every day, but really, tell us, how many glasses of water is recommended a day?
So for a man, it depends too on, you know, what
your gender.
Your gender.
Okay.
It also depends on how active you are.
Okay.
So if you don't, like for women that are breastfeeding as well. So averagely, a man or breastfeeding women will need about 2.5 liters of water. That's about 9-10 glasses of water.
You see?
Yeah, then because you know you only take 2. And then for
the regular folks.
Regular folks, 2 liters is fine. For kids,
That's
maybe a
about
little
8
less.
glasses.
Yes, that's about 8 glasses.
So
yeah.
really, this stuff about 8 glasses a day of water is what you need. It's not a myth, apparently.
No, it's
and Dr. Maju just confirmed it. Well, let's take this break while I ruminate over my non-water drinking life. We'll be right back. It's still Wake Up Nigeria.
Yeah, the face-off fight night 2 is the reason why our 2 guests are right here on the couch. Have you actually ever met mixed martial artists? Now, I had the opportunity to do that this morning. And they're young, they're energetic, and they are extremely inspiring. We have with us Jane, who is also called the Slayer, right? That's what they call you. And then we have the big shark himself, Daniel.
Nami.
Nayu, he said Nami. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Now, they look very calm on this couch, very peaceful, very, you know. But if you see them in the ring, hey, goodness me, there's something else. I need to ask them how this all got started. I'm going to start with you, Jane. When did you start fighting?
I started 3 years ago.
3 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it that made you go into this?
Like, I do see guys do fighting.
Okay.
So I was not like, let me try out this stuff. Like, what a man can do, a woman can do it also.
Amazing.
Then I found the perfect gym.
You found the perfect gym?
Yes.
I love that. I love that. The perfect place where you felt comfortable to learn this.
Yes.
3 years is a long time. Must have been an interesting journey. But this gentleman here that's looking gentle for now, that only goodness knows what he's like when he enters the ring, right? It is a ring, right?
We call it cage.
A cage?
Or
wow.
octagon.
An octagon?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so for those that don't understand, mixed martial arts is a combination of how many different styles?
Mixed martial art is a combination of all combo.
Okay.
Like boxing, wrestling, kickboxing, karate,
everything.
Judo, everything.
Wow.
Judo, everything.
Wow.
And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So right now, what level have you reached in this competition?
Let me say, in Nigeria, I'm #1 in my own weight division.
Okay. What's your weight division?
I'm 81.
81
middleweight,
kilo.
yes.
Okay, fantastic.
So I'm really working hard to be biggest shark of Africa. Yes, I'm the champion of Africa, so I'm working harder to be the biggest shark of the world. That's my main goal, yeah.
Honestly, I can see the ginger, and from what I could see from that video, it doesn't seem like an easy task. You know, I'm just trying to think of how many people you had to beat. That's the only term I can use to get to that level. How many people, how many stages did you have to go through?
A lot. Like, I want to be like Anthony Joshua,
okay,
the Nigeria world champion, the world champion. I want to be like Kamaru Usman. I want to be like Israel Adesanya. So they passed a lot. Like they fought a lot of tough guys to be where they are today. So I've been fighting tough guys and knocking them out, and I still have some other guys to meet in future. Yeah, so I can't count. I can't say how many people.
Honestly, I don't even want to imagine. But you know, it must have been delicate for you. You're a lady, right?
Yeah.
And not a lot of people would expect ladies to be involved with tournaments like this. Did you ever get any, you know, negative impressions about you coming into this?
Yeah, actually, it was not encouraging.
Okay.
Because you get a hatred from people around you, like you have a masculine body. If you go into the game, you're going to be acting like a guy. You're going to have bruises on your face, stuff like that. But as for the passion you have, so you don't have to take their words, but to move forward.
Well, you've come far in the tournament. I can't see any bruises or scars on your face. I think you have to be very skilled to understand how to fight without, you know, getting injured too badly and all that. And you don't look masculine to me. You look beautiful. But I want to see if we can show some of your skills. I brought a little plank here to see if you can show us. Are you prepared to do that?
Yeah, I can.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. So, all right, so is this high enough?
Yeah, he's okay.
Is this enough space for you?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Down a little, yeah.
All right, go ahead. Wow, that is extremely high. All right, one more time. Woo! Yeah, she took it right out of my hand.
Thank you.
She didn't take my own hand off, thankfully. But that was a strong kick. And how long did it take for you to get to this level of skill?
Well, actually, it's hard work and training that can get you to a higher level.
How many days a week are we talking? How many days a week do you guys train?
Like, for me, I train 5 times a week.
5 times a week?
Some people train for 3. But me, I train 5 times, then I rest for 2 days to make my muscular recovery.
I'm so appreciative that you took time out of your training schedule to come show us what you do. I know that the fight night is coming up this weekend, right? This Friday at the Eco Hotel, and I have a feeling it's going to be one that you've probably never experienced before. I feel like this is something I want to come and watch. I'm really inspired by you guys. Jane and the Big Shaq right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be taking a quick break, but there's still so much more right here on Wake Up Nigeria.
Hello again. Yes, it's still the show of all shows, Wake Up Nigeria.
Yes, the very top of the morning to you. Once again, we know that freedom is essential to man. So this morning, we feel free in our ability to put a smile on your face every morning.
Yes, sir. We can't stop. We can't stop. And we won't stop. To give you the morning, we believe everyone should wake up to. Thank you so much for choosing to join us every morning. It means a lot to us.
Definitely does. Full disclosure, we definitely intend to be loud on the show for the rest of the show.
With
because we have an amazing 45 minutes left.
Yes, so whatever you require, we will be serving it hot on the show. I need a hand to hold on to. You need a hug. We're just a plug. Yeah, I'm on fire this morning because we believe that no one should ever have to do this life alone.
Definitely.
You should never walk alone, even though you're not Liverpool. My name is Mary Bashua Alimi.
And I am Winfrey of Mary God.
You didn't say Winfrey of Mary God. That's what I heard.
And I am Winfrey Daniel Kolo. Definitely make sure you stream the show live at TVC Entertainment on TV and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
Yes, and of course, make sure you use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC in your comments, okay? Download the app as well, okay? The TVC app is on both the Android and iOS stores. And you can also check us out on YouTube via TVC Entertainment. Of course, that's for you to catch up on old episodes of the show.
Definitely. Coming up shortly is birthday shout-outs again as we celebrate you born in March.
Yes, we have one special birthday shout out.
Yes,
so that's the one we're going to be drinking. And from that, we'll also take a look at relationship. Yes. The focus today is on healthy romantic relationships. Basically, how romantically competent are you? While you ruminate over that, we'll definitely have professional Olaiwola Abiola come talk more about this in a bit.
And of course, Williams Damilola Eunice, popularly known as Didi Wills, is a singer of Afro-pop genre who has worked with Nigerian artists like Burna Boy, Simi Praise, Adeni G, and others, right? She definitely has released her 2 singles this year, Enter Your Eyes and Sento B, and she'll definitely be performing for us today.
After that, it's on to a conversation with actor, filmmaker, model, and presenter Okay Jude. He is known for his role in Africa Magic's Dilemma and Ndani TV's Love Like This.
Well, good to see you again. You're watching the news update on Wake Up Nigeria, and we absolutely appreciate it. I am Kelly Egiga. Let's begin with party politics, and in Benue State, where Governor Samuel Otom says the People's Democratic Party is making frantic efforts to resolve all the issues that threaten to rip apart the party ahead of the 2023 elections. Governor Otom, in an interview on TVC's Nigeria Today, says the party cannot afford to disappoint or thrash the trust of Nigerians for the party come next general elections. He also urges party members to sacrifice their personal interests for the growth of the nation.
This matter will be resolved. Just yesterday we met. We're meeting tomorrow. We're meeting next tomorrow. Amongst many other things, including the conflict in Edo, these matters will be resolved because we cannot afford to disappoint Nigerians. Where we are today, the country is going down, is going far below what we had thought that this present government will take Nigeria to.
Now, when asked about the security situation in Benue State, the governor said the federal government is dishonest and has abandoned the state, stating that it has the capacity to end insecurity the country is faced with, but has refused to act.
The federal government is complicit because they are part of it. If federal government wants to stop this carnage, the evil that is going on against our people, that would have been done long ago. They have the capacity. I don't have the security apparatus to stop these people, but they do have. But they have refused to do it, and they defend these people. Otherwise, we would have thought that a challenge we have today, over 1.5 million people, after the projected figure of 7 million people, the federal government would.
Now let's take you outside Nigeria, where Russia has put United States President Joe Biden, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and a dozen top U.S. officials on a stop list that bars them from entering the country. Alongside Mr. Biden, U.S. officials on the list include Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, CIA Chief William Burns, and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. The ban was in response to sanctions imposed by Washington on Russian officials amid Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The foreign minister later on Tuesday added Trudeau to the list of sanctioned individuals. Now, others on the list include Deputy National Security Advisor Dalip Singh, U.S. Agency for International Development Chief Samantha Power, Deputy Treasury Secretary Dewale Ademo, and U.S. Export-Import Bank Chief Rita Lewis. Russia also banned from entry Mr. Biden's son Hunter and former Secretary of State and Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. In the meantime, the prime ministers of the Czech Republic, Poland, and Slovenia traveled to Kiev by train, the first foreign leaders to visit the Ukrainian capital since Russia invaded its neighbor last month. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's office confirmed the visit on Tuesday, but gave no further details about the gathering, which was due to take place as fighting continues on the outskirts of Kiev, and residential buildings inside the city are being shelled. At least 2 people were killed in an overnight strike. Now, talks between Russian and Ukrainian officials are expected to resume Previous discussions held in person in Belarus produced no lasting routes to evacuate civilians or agreement to end the fighting. The EU, a political and economic union of 27 member states that are located primarily in Europe, is set to adopt more sanctions against Russia and Vladimir Putin. And with that story, we conclude our news at this time. Thank you so much for watching. I am Kelly Egiga. We urge you to stick around here on Wake Up Nigeria for the rest of the show. Good morning.
Okay, so every Wednesdays, we do have this very interesting segment where we actually talk relationships. And Mr. Alaiwala has been joining us for a while now. And today, he's here again. And we're talking about something very, very important. Competence when it comes to being romantic, right? And how that impacts and makes our relationships healthy. Welcome back to Wake Up Nigeria.
Good morning, good morning. It's good to be here again.
Of course, it's always great to have you because we're sure you're going to be giving us very important tools and tips to maintain our relationships. Okay, so now we're talking about competence when it comes to being romantic.
Yeah.
Now, it is generally believed and observed and perceived that Nigerian men are not romantic.
Yeah.
Do you share that opinion?
Well, that would be stereotyping Nigerian men because there are still men that are romantic, Nigerian men that are romantic anyway. So for me, it's no longer news that people have a season in their relationship, the lovey-dovey time and season. But in no time, they also get to this season called the reality stage, and everybody is going south and saying, is this the same guy that was running after me in the courting and dating period? But I've come to realize that it's because a lot of people are not skillful in terms of how to go about their relationship. So when we talk about romantic competency, we're actually talking about having this adaptive relational ability. Because the person you're going to be going out with, or you're going out with, or you're in a relationship with, is not coming from the same background and whatever. So for us to have better understanding how to relate and have a long-lasting and enduring relationship, there is need to be romantically competent. And that will be probably surprising because I'm not going to be saying the things you will probably think I'll be saying.
Oh, yeah, no.
So, okay, now. So there are three things actually I've come to discover that if every one of us, we actually imbibe, will make our relationship better romantically.
Okay.
Number one is insight. Insight. Now, when we talk about insight, insight is basically talking about knowledge and about self, understanding of oneself, that is knowing yourself and knowing your partner. Okay. Now, this is only possible when we allow friendship. The problem we have most of the time is that people bring physical intimacy too early in a relationship, that they do not cultivate friendship, bond in a way that there's no other way you can bond except friendship. You know, you have your buddies, you have your friends, and you can always be there. You can tell if your friend comes back from an outing and she has not said anything. Looking at your eyes, you can tell that something is wrong. If the party was nice, you can tell. Because you have some level of insight. Yes. You know yourself. You know how your body feels. You know the things you can take, the things you can't take. You know your needs. You know your wants. So insight basically is talking about knowing yourself and knowing your partner. Let me give you an instance in this regard. I know that I love to talk. I love to express myself. Okay. Now, if I'm going to go out with someone, the person must be someone that will be ready to listen because I love to talk. Okay. Now, when I started our relationship, my woman is the kind of person that's a very quiet person. So when we're talking and what do you say to this? She'll keep quiet. She kept quiet most of the time, and she tell me that, look, I'm thinking about it. For me, it was not getting. But over time, I discovered that when I give her time to brood over the matter, she's a very deep person. When she comes back with her own ideas, but most of the time, it's even better ideas. So I've come to realize that now I don't need to rush her. She's not an impulsive person or a spontaneous person like myself. So that's insight. That I know you, I know myself. So when we're about to make decisions, I'm going to be making decisions in the light of what I know about you.
Okay, so number one is insight.
Insight, knowledge of self and knowledge of your partner.
All right, so now what is number two?
The number two is what we call mutuality. Okay. Mutuality is simply saying, I understand that I have needs. Okay. And my partner also has needs. And these needs are valid. These needs are important. Okay. You can't sweep them under the carpet. So it's also conveyed to me that I must communicate those needs. The beginning of crisis or conflict in relationships when we have our needs or expectations not met. So, but you don't have to say, is it not an adult? You should know. A lot of times ladies do that, do what we call mind reading.
But wait, you should know. Because at the beginning of the relationship, you knew. So what now happened? You see, why did you become clueless all of a sudden?
Human beings are dynamic. Different seasons, different realities. But what mutuality is saying is that understand your needs are valid. No matter how quote and unquote nonsensical they may sound, your needs are valid. communicate them. Then those understanding of that will also inform your decision. Whatever decision I'm taking, I'm going to be taking in the light of the fact that your need is important, my need is important.
Yeah,
so that's what mutuality is all about.
Okay. So now mutuality, we have insight, knowledge of yourself, knowledge of your partner. We have mutuality. So now what is...
The third one is emotional regulation.
Emotional regulation.
Yes, emotions don't go away until you do something about it. So it's simply saying, because we're emotional beings, we are relational beings.
We are, yeah.
So as two people in love go about their day-to-day activities in their relationship, they are going to come to a time where they're probably going to hurt each other. So emotional regulation is simply saying, putting the issues in proper perspective. Don't go overboard. At times, people attack the person of their partner instead of attacking the issue.
The issue.
So emotional regulation is saying, okay, for example, you're waiting for your partner, your spouse, probably for a date, and the person is coming late, and you're getting agitated and things like that. If you don't know how to put the emotion in check, by the time he or she comes in, at that point in time, you may just lose it and spoil the whole idea of the date night. So emotional regulation is putting your emotion in check and know how to go about it.
Okay, so now we spoke about insight, mutuality, emotion regulation. Now, why is it that we're not hearing the things we actually want to hear, like buy me flowers and chocolate? So now where does that come in? And now the fact that people perceive those kind of things as the romantic gestures, now what does that have to, like, what do you have to say to that?
That's where these three things come to play. For example, I know the woman in my life loves gifts. I understand I love language. I will not say, look, the economy is hard. She should understand that things are hard. We have school fees to pay. But by mutuality, I understand that our needs are valid. And when she communicates the needs to me also, I should also be able to go out of my way to meet the needs. That's what I would say about that.
Okay, thank you so much. I mean, I love the fact, I mean, you spoke about how, I mean, yes, there are seasons, right? There's the fairy tale parts and how people, but then again, the reality season.
The adjustment season.
Exactly. So people literally need to come to the point of realizing that it now has to take efforts, right? To make it work and make it still lively and fun. I mean, as I said, it's always a pleasure to have you here on the show. Thank you so much for telling us these amazing tips on how to keep our relationship fresh and romantic.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
I was wondering, 1 year subscription of what? Because I didn't hear it clearly. So I'm going to ask.
Gym.
Why?
Gym subscription.
What is it with gym subscription? Especially when you see women dressed in some sort of way.
No. So some guys need to be a particular figure to wear the kind of clothes our guest wears. Oh, my goodness. Talking about the amazing Mr. OK Jude.
Yes, it is time indeed for us to have a conversation with actor, filmmaker, model. Notice our emphasis on model. And a presenter, OK Jude. Now, he is known for his role in African Magic's Dilemma and, of course, a Love Like This by Dan TV.
Yes,
Great to have you on the show.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. So, you know, we emphasize the model.
The modeling part and looking good.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're looking beautiful too.
Your outfit is, in fact, you should stand up.
Please, let's look at this
first
outfit.
Appreciate
This outfit is on point. Like, look at that.
Do I take my shirt off?
No, don't take it off. That one is extreme. Now, breakfast.
I love the detailing. Like, Nigerian designers are blowing our minds these days.
Yeah, they are.
And, of course, the people wearing them as well.
Yes. Okay, Titi.
I'm sorry. I don't want to say shoot my shot, but the truth is I cannot shoot shot again. I can only see you. My appreciation is also of your craft and how well, you know, you've been recognized for so many great performances on screen. But doesn't it feel like a lot of pressure, you know?
It does, you know, especially in the kind of industry we're in. You find that you're only as good as your last work, you know, so you have that pressure to keep churning out great stuff, select the kind of roles you play, the kind of films you are in, because it's what people see that they relate to, you know. So that pressure to keep at it is not easy, but that's what we're made for, so we have to keep
there's
doing
a particular role you played. That's the Igbo trader.
Yeah.
In Bling Oceans.
Yeah.
That role till today, I think it's top notch.
Yeah.
Like at some point, I was like, this guy must have a shop in. If not on Iweka Road, it would definitely be at.
You know, it was really hilarious. At the time, I didn't know I had a comic side to me. You know, shout out to Bolanle St. Peters. You know, that was the first time I actually had that experience of you know, bringing out that, that funny side of me, and yeah.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you did talk a little bit about, the roles you choose. So have you actually, do you feel like there are roles that you would easily turn down and the ones you'd easily take?
Yeah. So as an actor also, you don't like to be stereotyped, right? So initially when I started out, I was getting, the fine boy roles, fine boy, and at some point people start to form that notion about you.
Yes.
But you want them to know that you have that range.
You're
There's more to
versatile.
you. You're versatile, So, yeah. So when scripts like that come, it's not like I turn it down, but if a story is impactful, it's, it's something I feel, would affect change on a larger scale. Yeah, why not? But if it's just, no depth, nothing,
Okay,
so
so
no, chill.
we, as an actor,
Yeah.
you can fit into so many roles. Say, for example, we're taking a look at some of your photos on screen right now. It also helps with your modeling as well, because you can take up any character you're given to portray in clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
So that makes me wonder at the filmmaker angle.
Okay.
When you're in front of the camera, it's quite different from when you're behind the camera. What made you decide to go behind the camera?
Okay, so there are a lot of layers to that. I'm married, right? And also I have that spiritual inclination, and I felt the only way to churn out content, to control the kind of content you want people to see, to preach your message, pass a strong message you want to, is to actually produce, so that way you control the narrative. It's not just about people giving you scripts, that way you control the narrative. And, there's that another part of the money.
Okay. Yeah, because you take all the risks.
Yeah. So,
but when it pays off,
exactly,
you take
so even though it's a high-risk industry, it's a high-risk, sector, but you know what they say, high risk, high returns, Yeah, so just being able to tell your own stories and also,
There's some... So let's take a little clip of some of seeing you in action, and then we'll be back.
Satisfied with your work?
Look, I'm sorry, Ben, but this is not the time.
You tossed common sense out the window and put us all in danger over that your unreliable informant.
Hey, my source is 100%.
And what's the name of this infallible informant, huh? Look where his 100% landed us.
Cool it down, Ben. Don't forget who you're talking to.
We could have died like chickens.
Yes, if he hadn't come through when he did.
Forget that talk, I beg. What if he's playing both sides?
Ben.
He leads us to a slaughter in order to solidify his position in his gang and turns around to warn us at the last second so he can keep yanking your strings. He's playing you for a fool. Enough of this.
This makes me wonder, like the way you fit into roles.
Yeah.
Do you still attend auditions, or people just call you up and say, you know what, okay, I want you to feature in my movie, and this is what I'd like you to do?
Okay, so it's more of the latter. Now it's more of the latter, but of course you still get to attend auditions from time to time, even though it's not the open auditions anymore. So you get, a call, we want you to come in and read for this role. So that's it. It's mostly closed auditions, and we just come and read. Yeah.
All right. I'm wondering about that dream role you've always wanted to play. Is there a particular actor you've been channeling, either Nigerian or international?
007.
Really?
James Bond.
Really now?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Here's what we're going to do now that you said it. We're going to have...
Which one of
which
them?
of them first?
Which one?
I like Daniel Craig.
Okay.
Daniel is the most recent. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you 30 seconds to pitch yourself for 007.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action.
I like my martini shaken, not stirred.
Now 30 seconds. You said you can spoil something. 30 seconds is what we said.
I was feeling like I'm sweating. Thank you. It's James Bond in the building.
Titi.
What now?
Wow.
That was James Bond. Didn't you see James Bond?
No, we saw James Bond. We saw it. It's James Jude, okay?
But there's a lot that goes into Hollywood movies that makes actors like that tick. Do you think there's enough in the industry happening right now that could help get you to that level.
Okay, so I think we're getting there. Of course, you have the influx of the Netflix, Amazon Prime, you know, a lot of them coming in. So, yeah, the implication of that now is we have more budget, you know, and of course there's more money to be able to do stuff, you know. So you can say you're signed on for a project and you have, say, 1 year to prepare for it because the budget is there, you know. So, yeah, I think we're getting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're actually doing jobs that take a year to prepare.
Yeah.
Wow. But skits don't. How do you, have you been involved in any skits?
No.
No?
Not.
Do you plan to be?
Of course I plan to be, because as an actor these days, it's not just about the movie roles you take. There's the other angles to it, you know. So you have to build that brand that people can relate to and, you know, ride on existing, you know, guys who are doing stuff, you know, and just spread your networks, you know, and tentacles, you know. And the skit makers are doing a great job.
Do you see them as a threat to the regular movie industry? Note, I'm using regular because some people say they're not really doing a good job because they're not being censored. They produce, they churn out content that aren't really friendly to all ages and so on and so forth. But really, do you see them as a threat to
honestly,
the movie industry?
I don't. You know how they say the space is large enough, the sky is large enough for everybody, you know. It's a different industry, you know. So they have their market, you know. There are people who can relate, you know, to the 2 minutes, 3 minute skits. There are people who still want to go to the cinema, you know, and see. There are people who go to the theater, you know. So I don't think they're a threat. They have their own industry, their own market,
So I want to touch a little bit on the industry. It's come under fire of recent, especially because of some particular things that are being, you know, seen by the younger generation. I'm talking ritual killings, the yahoo, the smoking, you know, use of drugs and all that. So what's your opinion on censoring all these?
Well, so, you know, I said earlier, one of the reasons I decided to be a filmmaker is so that
control the narrative.
You can control the narrative. So I feel we see Hollywood, we see the kind of stories they put out there. It's an image thing. So if you, as an individual, you want to effect social change, the only way to do that is to control that narrative. If we keep churning out content that just shows, you know, blood money, shows, you know, fraudulent stuff, you know, that's how they're going to see us, really. Because it's what they see over there, they can relate to. You know, so, yeah, that's for me. But I also don't think we are responsible, per se, for increase in fraudulent activities, because we are a mirror of what is actually happening in the society. You know, so it's just a bit of,
but don't you think your mirror is projecting it even more?
Well, I don't think so. It's just people expressing their creativity, you know, the way they want to do it. And even in those scenarios, you find lifelong lessons that help people not fall prey to fraudsters, you know, enable them to know what to look out for. Maybe when there are killings, you know, the rituals, you know, and all that. So it's a bit of both, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have to say
thank you.
A very big thank you to you.
Really? Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate how you know, talked about that, because I know a lot of actors would have tried to avoid it, but you actually tackled it head on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And our Winfrey is probably right there. Winfrey, how's it going over there, darling?
It's going great, great, great. Amazing show, and thanks to all our guests for joining us today. I mean, Wonder Woman Wednesdays is always a hit now, you know? Regular stuff.
Always a hit. All right, so we brought it bright today.
Bright and colorful.
Yes, bright and colorful.
Yeah.
And so we hope you have a fantastic, colorful day as well, okay?
All right, till tomorrow morning, we're going to be back 7 a.m. right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Can't wait to see ya.
Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.